Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well on this Saturday. Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to come in and do a little video because so much has happened, and I just want to share a little bit more that, things that have come up for me and some challenges I have had, and, maybe other people experiencing the same thing. So I kind of want to just put it out there. So I guess others can relate to it and what's happening, and we can share this together. So for me, I've been having a lot of downloads. Um, the most significant download that I just received was regarding the heart and the heart center, and all about a treasure and the heart center. So what that meant for me is the greatest treasure is, the love that we can give one another. And one thing that I had not realized is that I was always sharing love for one another, for other people, but at the same time, I had a closed heart, and it was due to things, I guess, in my life, and things in past lives, which we actually don't call them past lives. They're just lives that are significant at this point in time that are running with us simultaneously. But so, for example, for me, I always had a hard time kissing my children. I had a hard time getting close to anyone, getting close to my husband. And anytime this would happen, family members, whoever it might be, excluding animals, of course. And anytime this closeness would come, I would just shut off right away. So this is something that I had to address within myself. And this is something that had to be shifted. So what does it take? It takes a lot of self-talk and a lot of, telling yourself that you are enough. It's a lot of telling yourself that you don't have to hold back, because so my feeling is in a past life, what happened to me is there was somebody that I relied on greatly, and I loved this person, and for whatever reason he had to leave. Now what happened is he had told me he was going to come back or whatever. He did not. So this is something that I've been living with, since I came into this lifetime, and also previous lifetime. So this is something that I carry with me. And of course, in my soul contract, I also agreed to have, difficult relationships. So these difficult relationships have also shaped who I am, and have helped to bring me closer, to these individuals. But like I said, then I would start pushing away, and at one point in time when I feel it's getting too serious, or needing that closeness or that interaction, like pull myself away and pull myself from that individual, and sabotaging it myself, is if you would say. So I had realized this, and now I am working on it. And I am a work in progress, and I am doing the work. And what that means is, like I said before, a lot of self-talk. It's a lot of, telling myself I am enough, telling myself to stop judging myself, because at times I'll be sitting there judging myself, making up these scenarios, be in my head, that don't need to necessarily be there. And I have to pull myself back and say, hey, what's going on? What are we doing here? So that is what I have to do. Okay. And everybody can do the same thing that I'm doing right now. Just pull yourself back, tell yourself you don't need to be in your head. You don't need to be judging yourself at this point in time. Because what happens is, when we're doing this, we're letting the ego drive the bus. And we don't want the ego to drive the bus. We want the higher self to be in control. Okay. Nobody needs to drive the bus. The universe is going to bring you what you need. The universe knows what you need better than you do, better than your friends, better than your mother, better than anyone in your current reality. Okay. Your universe knows. So that means that you need to pull yourself back and you have to let the universe take charge. And like I said, and do not let the ego run the show. Now, another thing, another suggestion, I'm going to throw out another tip. So anytime, let's say you're going through this time, you're really in your head, you're really worked up and you're just upset and you're really in the situation, do not sit there and try and make sense of it. Do not try and sit there and call in your higher self to tell you what you should do at that moment, because you know who's going to show up? The ego is going to show up, because you're looking for a certain answer and your ego is going to give you that answer. Okay, so we don't want to do that. What we want to do at that time is we want to pull ourselves back. We want to go do something. We want to go clean the house. We want to go do some artwork. We want to go, take a walk. We want to go, maybe do some exercising, whatever it might be that you enjoy. We want to step away from that situation, let it tone down, and we want to do something else. Because once you're in that situation and you're in your head, it's unlikely that you're going to call in your higher self to come in, because you're already, you're disorientated as it is. You're really in your head and you really want that answer that you want. And like I said, your ego is going to pop in and say, hey, here it is. Okay, so we don't want to do that at that point in time. Next thing is these energies are so high. I know I have said this in previous videos. I cannot stress it enough. And what does that mean? That means that whatever we think, okay, whether it be negative, whatever we feel, whether it be negative, is going to be pulled towards us. We don't want that. We want to go through our reality with grace and ease. And what does that mean? We have to sit there and we have to be in spiritual neutrality. We don't want to have an opinion on everything. We don't want to judge anybody. We don't want to judge ourselves. We don't want to sit here and get caught in the story, okay? We want to live a positive life with great things coming to us, and great things are out there to come to us because they're all filled in our quantum field. Great, amazing things are in our quantum field. Now we can pull them in as long as we stay on that high vibration, okay? Now we have to remember that we're all vacillating back and forth from 3D to 5D to 9D, wherever you are. Okay, we're all vacillating back and forth. We're never always in that exact moment, but we have to try to keep ourselves in that highest vibration. And let me just tell you something, in a snap of a finger, you can be in 3D, okay? So it is our, what's the word I'm looking for? I just want to say this correctly. It is our, it is just so important. I'm sorry, it's just so important for us to know when we're going into 3D. It's so important for us to feel it and to say, oh, I'm there again. I don't want to be there, okay? Because it's gonna be a little bit harder to get out sometimes. So we want to shift that. We want to shift, because let me give you an example of what I mean by shifting into a different reality. So at one point in time, I would say my husband was not on board with, what I do. And I would talk to him about, what is happening in Ascension and what is happening around the world and what is happening when, in spirituality. And simple as that, he really couldn't understand it. And anytime I would speak to him, he'd be like, I don't know what you're saying. I really don't know what you're saying, but okay. If you say so, all right. So it got to a point where I was like, it was kind of bothering me. And I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? I have to stop worrying about him and his feelings towards me and what I'm saying and so forth. I'm just going to let it be. I'm going to let him do what he's going to do. And I'm going to take care of what I have to do. And that's when I let go. And that's when he shifted to a point where it's not that he fully understands what I'm saying, but he understands it in his own way, if that makes any sense to you. So he doesn't understand the terminology that I'm speaking, but he understood it in a different terminology. So I was like, oh, wow. I'm like, once I let go, he shifted and he came in as a new and improved, better form of himself. Okay. And of course, I stepped up into a higher realm at the same time, because I was no longer leaving myself down in the third dimension where I'm sitting here being upset about how he's acting, how he's not, listening to me, interacting with me the way I wanted him to. I said, you know what, I'm just going to let it go, because, at this point in time, I need him to do what he's got to do, and I got to concentrate on what I have to do. So at that point in time, once I let it go, I was able to shift, and he had to shift as well, because that's how it works. And we have to remember that when we shift and we are on making the best choices and on the right timeline, and we're on the highest timeline, everybody around us has to move forward too. And they're going to bring in their best self. Okay. So that's the benefit of navigating your reality. And so this all comes back to the heart center. Okay. Our heart center is filled with love. It is filled with joy, and it wants to be happy. Okay. Our soul wants to be happy. That's all it wants. So this is why I am bringing this back to navigating these energies with grace, ease, and love. Okay. It's all about love. And we can sit here and we can think love and we can do love, but you know what? It's all about the choices we make. Okay. Sometimes we have to pull ourselves back and pull the ego back and say to ourselves, we don't have to always react right away. How about taking a minute to see? Let's say you're having, a problem or an issue with somebody and something is not aligned with you. Then you really have to pull yourself back and say, okay, well, what timeline / choice is the best choice for me right now? What is the best choice for me to make where it'll benefit both parties, where both people will benefit? Okay, so this is where we really need to go into our heart center and say, okay, if I do this, I'm going to have that outcome. If I do that, I'm going to have that outcome. And we want to have the highest outcome for both individuals, right? So that's why it's important. And the heart center, everything's in the heart center. Channeling is in the heart center. Everything we do is in the heart center. Nothing is no longer outside of us. Everything is within us. And that's why I say that our love and our heart is the biggest and largest treasure that we can ever have. And it's important to remember that. And I know I keep on doing videos on the heart center, but it's so important for everyone to realize that this is where we need to be. We all need to be in the heart center, okay? Because at the end of the day, you close your eyes, there's nothing. There's nothing, okay? We open our eyes and here's our reality again, but we close them, there's nothing there except you, your consciousness, and your heart center. That is it, okay? So thank you and have a wonderful day. Please subscribe, as this is how YouTube works. We subscribe, it can get to more users and more people can view my videos. And that's just how it works. But thank you so much. I love you all and have a great day.